Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I'm back with another faith journaling or prayer journaling video for you guys. We are continuing on through the Take 4 series from Open Journey. Today's video is going to be week 2 for the issue 3 Seek devotional. So this is the third installment of this series, and we are on week 2 for today's video. I do have a detailed unboxing. I will link that down below if you've missed that. It goes into the physical kit, some of the digitals, add-ons, all that goodness. Open Journey does offer her devotional kits as physical options, digital options, and devotional only. So you have a lot of different options that you can pick up and work through this with us. I would encourage you to go back through some of the past videos if you've missed them. I'm continuing to provide a set of free printable PDF study notes for you guys. Those are linked down below the video. I do want to note that these are not my own notes. These are coming from a variety of different resources, which I've linked at the end of the notes. And so those are hyperlinks that will take you to those different resources. And so I've just kind of compiled all the things that I typically would look at when I sit down to do a study like this. And so I've just gone ahead and pulled those all together and then provided them for you as a guide. But I definitely would encourage you guys to go in and do your own study, your own digging. As I was kind of prepping for the video today, I noticed I don't have a word study for today. However, there is a mention of a little bit of a study of a word through the notes. And so sorry about that. I don't know how I missed getting that in there for you guys, but this would be a great week for maybe you guys to take some of the things that we've been learning over the last few weeks and put into practice on your own. So I do have a Tip Tuesday video about word studies, an entire word study playlist. And so you can utilize those and some of the past week's studies to maybe do your own word study. This would be a great week to put that in practice. So sorry about that. I am dealing with a terrible migraine today. I've pulled out all the stops and all the tricks I know to try to get rid of it, and it's not going away. So we're just going to power through, and this is probably not going to be the most polished video today. So thanks for bearing with me. I've already noticed a few errors. It is what it is. So today, like I said, is week 2, and we are looking at Psalm 42, verses 1 through 2 and verse 7. Now, I have gone ahead and included it from the NASB 95 translation. That's the translation that I read from. I am noticing these itty-bitty little lowercase letters. Just disregard those. Normally I take those out. Those are like little references from the website that I get this verse from. So like I said, today is not very polished. I prepped these notes weeks ago and apparently missed a few things. So Psalm 42 verses 1 through 2 and verse 7. So this is a psalm written by a songwriter. And from the context of what is being talked about, and it kind of explains that in the article I have, it is inferred that this is about David and David's time in the wilderness as he was cast out by his son Absalom. We have covered many psalms up to this point that are following, David during this time, and I think that that's really been really great for many of us because we're not alone, right? We're not the only ones that have struggled and gone through hard things and been in despair and cried out to God. And we have David as an example of somebody in the Bible who's been through that very thing. And so we're seeing that here in Psalm 42. So starting in verse 1, it says, "As the deer pants for the water brooks, so my soul pants for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? Deep calls to deep at the sound of your waterfalls. All your breakers and your waves have rolled over me." I don't know about you, but I can just read between the lines and just feel this just depth of despair that this group is feeling at this time. And because there is a group of people that are traveling with David, and it's just, my soul pants for you, God. My soul is yearning for you. I need you. When shall I come and appear before God? I initially had kind of, blaze past this verse, but as I come back to it, this, gosh, God, just come take me. I want to be with you. I don't want to be in this world of despair and misery and sin and all these things. And not, I want to be very careful about how we talk about this. This is not necessarily that I'm, saying that, having feelings of taking your own life. But I many times have just cried out to God, Maranatha. Like, I even want to get Maranatha tattooed. Like, come, Jesus, come. I am ready. I am ready to be done with the sin of this world, the difficulties of this world. There are so many beautiful things here, but I know many of us have just walked through some really, really difficult seasons, short ones, long ones, ongoing, lifetime ones. Life is hard. This side of heaven. And so there's been many times, just this week, my husband and I were just, you're looking at the news, we're looking at our bank account, we're looking at, it's just this constant battle of things happening in our life. And I'm just like, you know what, Jesus, you could come this week. You could come this week and I would be so excited. That just kind of stood out to me there. Deep calls to deep at the sound of your waterfalls as your breakers and your waves have rolled over me. This deep calls to deep is going to be kind of the central theme for my journaling today. And so the article that I have here for you guys from gotquestions.org is titled, "What Does It Mean That Deep Calls to Deep?" There's some really great information here as far as like how they're figuring out the context of the psalm based off of some of the surrounding verses. So definitely read into that. I really love that they've included that. But some things that stood out to me, it says the songwriter waffles between confidence that he would soon be able to praise the Lord as he had in the past and despair over his present affliction. So there's I know many of us have done this, right? You have moments of like, oh, I'm praising you, God. I know you're working in this difficult moment. I have shared that so many times over the last couple of months with you guys. I can look back and be like, yes, God, I know that it was for my good. But when you're in the moment, in the just trenches, there is that present affliction, that despair that you're dealing with. And so you are as a human dealing with that balance. That's just the nature of living here on earth and what we deal with. It says the language of Psalm 42 is poetic and metaphorical. Deep calls into deep at the noise of your waterfall. At the noise of your waterfalls, all your waves and billows have gone over me. The songwriter portrays his distress figuratively. It's as if waves and breakers are sweeping over him. Trouble was surging with one overwhelming swell coming after another. The deep trials he faced kept coming, wave-like, deep after deep. Whew, have we felt that? It's like medical stuff, car stuff, financial things. And then in the midst of it, we're like barely have our nostrils above water. And then my vacuum burns out. The kitchen sink faucet has to be replaced. I walk outside and the whole corner of my house is sitting in a lake of water because my neighbors have drowned us with all of their water. And so now we're out there digging trenches to try to, save the corner of the house. I mean, it is just like wave after wave after wave after wave. And it just feels, I don't know how many of you guys have been in the ocean. I'm actually a certified scuba diver. Back when I was in high school, college, I went through that program and certified rescue diver, things like that. And man, there were some times I was in the ocean in the Pacific Northwest that it was, and at that time I was tiny. I was like 100 pounds wet, teeny tiny. And it was just, the current and the waves, you can't brace against it. You can't do anything. It is just throwing you everywhere, water in your face, water in your mouth, up into your snorkel. It's just, and there's moments of panic and desperation. And so I for sure can just, this imagery, this metaphorical imagery just resonates with me because I've felt this. Says the Hebrew word translated here as deep refers to the deepest depths of the sea. And so here's where I was saying that there is a word that you could do a word study, that word deep. And so you can kind of dig into that. It says there's another interpretation of the word deep in Psalm 42, that the songwriter is expressing the fact that his soul was in deep need of God. The psalmist calls out from his place of profound need for the unfathomable greatness of God. A deep need calls for a deep remedy. There is no deep remedy on this earth, friends. I don't care if it is a magical medicine that's going to cure you or a money tree in the backyard. Nothing is as deep as God and his provision, his faithfulness, his love. He is the only one that can give us that deep remedy that we need when we are in the deep trenches of despair. And I know that's hard. I know that we look for tangible things, to fix things, and God definitely provides tangible things, but we need to be seeking him first and seeking him for that comfort and that rescue from that. It says, we hit upon the meaning of deep calls to deep when we recognize that human needs are great, but the riches of God are greater. And here's kind of where I was sharing this. Our wisdom is shallow, but his knowledge and judgments are unsearchable. You can find that in Romans 11, 33, 34. Side note, anywhere where you see this dark purple bold text, this is a hyperlink as well. So if you're looking at this on your computer, you can just click right there. It'll pull up the verse and you can read it right there in the window. It also may send you to other articles that kind of relate to that. It says, God's thoughts are deep, Psalm 92:5. His love is as deep as his immense heart, Ephesians 3:18 through 19. As he proved when he gave his only begotten son to die for us, John 3:16. The height, breadth, and depth of God's resources are without measure. From the depth of his despair, the psalmist found help in the depth of God's goodness. And he was able to say in conclusion, why am I discouraged? Why is my heart so sad? I will put my hope in God. I will praise him again, my Savior and my God. Psalm 42:11. I have experienced this, guys. This summer has been such a summer of healing for me. And I've been very raw and vulnerable with you guys. And so many of you guys in my messages, I just cannot, I know I say this every video, I cannot thank you enough. Like, you guys are keeping me going. And I don't say that, I'm not thankful that so many of you guys are going through difficult things, but you being vulnerable and sharing with me the hard things that you're going through, and just me sharing my hard lets you know that you're not alone. And it's not to my glory, it's to God's glory. God, I keep telling you guys, so thankful. It's because of him and for him that I do what I do in this space, and then I can do this for you guys, and then it resonates with you guys. And I just want it to be so evident that I am pointing back to God. All of it comes from God. I haven't always been in a position where I felt that way, and it has taken one of the most difficult years of my life to truly experience that. And I'm sure God's up there shaking his head like, gosh, Lindsey, if you'd just gotten this all those years ago when I was just giving you little trials and you weren't getting it. You weren't getting it. You weren't getting it. You weren't turning to me. You were trying to do things on your own. So he had to take me to the absolute bottom of the pit, the deepest of the deep, for me to go, you know what, God, I can't do it. I can't do it on my own. There's nothing I can do. I need you. And man, I feel like maybe I have most of my head above water now, not just a nostril peeking above water. It doesn't mean it's easy. There are still very, very hard days. There's hard, but I feel a lightness that I didn't have a few months ago. And so, special thank you to the companies and the women who are putting together these devotionals for us, because it's given us the tools to dive into our Bibles deeper. And I know so many of you guys are discovering that through Bible journaling. Yes, the art part, the pretty part, the paint part is fun, but it's really been drawing us into deeper study. And I know that that's happening for so many of you guys. And so I hope that God will continue to put me here and use this space to point others to him, and to maybe just let you guys know that you're not alone. If anything, that I'm down in the pit with you, walking alongside of you, and don't always get it right, for sure. It's not perfect. Definitely not perfect. Jesus is the only one that was that. And so just trying to be vulnerable and real and share how God is working and convicting in my life, and hoping that is an inspiration to you guys, an encouragement to you guys. If anything, just knowing that you're not by yourself. First off, you do have God. You are not, that is the most important. You are not alone. We've talked about that. If you caught any of my videos this week, talking about that, he is with you. But knowing that there are others here that are dealing with some of the very same things that you guys are walking through. So definitely encourage you guys to go through and read through that entire article there. I do have a couple notes from my MacArthur Study Bible. I like this as the deer pants, my soul pants. He says he is facing a severe divine drought. And so I saw this throughout the notes, this imagery. It really goes into, it's not just a thirsty deer. I think about where I live at in Central California. we're not in a drought currently, despite what they tell you. The last couple of years, we're no longer in a drought. Our water has been really good. But there were many years where we were in severe drought here in Central California. Where I live at, I'm just a few miles from eastern Porterville, which was in national news as they were having to bring in water tanks and shower trailers for the residents of that area of Porterville. And Porterville is the town that we do all of our, life in, our church, our shopping, our schools, all of that. And so thankfully we are on a really deep well on the river. We're good. But, we've walked through this really hard drought time. And so this idea of deer's panting, I mean, we've seen, I have a whole family of deer that live in our yard because we do have water that comes through our yard. And we saw during the drought, it really drove all the animals down from the mountains. We were having a lot more animal contact in populated areas because they were searching out water and food. And so this is a desperate thirst. This is not just I could take the water if it's next to me. This is like have not drank in days and days, need water. So this, comparing it to being in a severe divine drought, how many of us have experienced that in a variety of different ways? Feeling like maybe you're not seen by God, that, God isn't listening to you, or maybe by choice that we have turned from God, that we are not seeking him actively. Oof, I've been on both of those throughout my life. Deep, your waterfalls, your waves. He says he alleges that God is ultimately responsible for the oceans of trial in which he seems to be drowning. We've talked about this a little bit in this last month, this idea that, hard things happen here on earth because we live in a fallen world, right? Because Eve just had to listen to the serpent and brought sin into the world. And so because of that, there is hard things here this side of heaven. But ultimately, God is in control. And so he is kind of the one that is the referee, right? Or the goalkeeper. He, either deflecting things away from us or allowing things to happen or for us to go through things so then he can then use it for our sanctification. And so this, when you read this, deep calls to deep at the sound of your waterfalls, all your breakers, your waves. He is in control of all of it. And that is a capital Y. That's referring to God, his breakers, his waves, his waterfalls. So this torrential difficulty, God is still in control of even that. He's in control of all of it. Going into David Guzik's commentary, just a few things here. It says the psalmist wasn't thirsty for water, but for God. Drinking and thirst are common pictures of man's spiritual need and God's supply. And Ingrid has done a few kits. Living Water was one of them. I know the wilderness ones, the desert journey ones kind of touch on this too. So if you are really wanting to dig, if this is resonating with you and you want to dig in deeper, go check out some of her past devotionals. I know she still has some of the physical kits in as well as the digital options for those, talking about Living Water. So you can kind of go into that more if you would like. There is a quote here from Morgan. I can't remember what his first name is, but it says, sorrow is always a sense of lack. The sorrow of bereavement is the sense of the loss of a loved one. The sorrow of sickness is the lack of health. The ultimate sorrow is the sense of the lack of God. This was the supreme sorrow of the singer. That was interesting for me, this lacking. We're lacking, but really what we're lacking is trust in God, faith in God. Okay, so lots of notes for you guys today that you can go through from David Guzik. I do also have some cross-references, and there were some cross-references also talked about in the gotquestions.org article as well, so you can find that. So a lot of cross-references for you guys for this study. So I guess maybe I just looked at it and thought, you guys have plenty to work with. Maybe we didn't need a whole bunch of word studies. I don't know. You could go into the word studies if you need to. So again, these notes are available for free for you guys down below. In today's video, I have another little freebie for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive in and kind of talk about what we're doing for the journaling. Can I just say, just when I started this video 20 minutes ago, my head was pounding, and just doing this, like the headache's still there, but I'm feeling a little better. I'm feeling rejuvenated. Like just walking through that for you guys was good for me. Okay, so working in my prayer journal, I've pulled out one of the opaque white stickers from the devotional kit. This is going to be a main element that we're going to use. We're keeping things very simple because, like I said, I don't feel good. So I have a few of the die cuts. I'm sticking with a very simple kind of neutral color palette today. So that made it very easy to kind of pick things out. So we've got the floral die cuts, Deep Calls to Deep. This is one of the clear stickers from the devotional kit. This number 2 came from the printable version of the kit. Now, when you purchase the physical kit, she does give you a 50% off coupon for the digital option. So you can then have that. The digital does have more backgrounds and some more elements than the physical kit does. And so this little number 2 is a part of the digital version of the kit since we're in week 2. I've decided to pull these out since we're keeping it simple. These are new. These are the little mixed media, I don't know what she calls them, mixed media sticker cards or something. They're just these little 3x2 scraps of her mixed media, and they're stickers. So I've pulled out a couple, and these I'm just going to kind of use as like an anchoring point down over here. I did have one more die cut that I will have. Oh, here it is. My soul thirsts for God. Now, I really love the imagery of the deer, and there may be a deer somewhere in Ingrid's stuff, but like I said, I don't feel good. I can't go digging through like 7 years worth of product. So this is going to be hard to see, but I just did a quick little sketch of a deer, and I'm going to try to have this available as a free PDF for you guys as well down below. It's just a really quick little pencil sketch of a deer, and the PDF will be a full 8.5 by 11 version of this, and then I scaled it way down when I printed it. I brought it over into Silhouette Studio, which is a free program that you can use. You could also use Canva, anything like that. I just wanted it small enough that it would fit on one of these cards. And we are going to transfer this. So I'm going to show you how to transfer an image onto something else very, very quickly. You don't need tracing paper or anything like that. So you don't even need my image. You could print any image that you want, and I'm going to show you how you can then transfer that onto your project very, very easily. So we're going to do that today. So that's kind of just a few of the pieces. So let me go ahead. Oh, no, I have a whole bunch of washi tape. So we'll be talking about these as we go along. Because this sticker is smaller than my page, I need to kind of build out the background. So I pulled out a bunch of the washies from Open Journey. I'm going to try to link them down below. One thing that I did was I swatched them all out on cardstock, all the washies that I have, and then I labeled them. So now it's easier for me to be able to tell you guys which washi I'm using. So those will be linked down below for you guys. So let's go ahead, put you guys on fast forward, and we'll put together this prayer journal for Psalm 42, verses 1 through 2 and verse 7.
Okay, so this layout was very, very quick and easy and simple with just a use of a few of the mixed media products that Ingrid has for us. So, like I said, I'm going to use these washi tapes as a base behind this larger sticker element. So, I've tried to pull out, a variety of them that have this kind of textured, papery mixed media look to them. Again, I will have them linked down below, whichever ones are still available in the shop. This one's nice because it's nice and big. It's nice. It's nice. It's nice. It's really big and wide. So she does have a few wide washi tape options. And so that makes it so you can cover a page very fast and easy. Now, I'm just sticking it directly to the paper. If you're worried about the longevity, like you're not wanting this over time to kind of peel away from the paper, you could add a layer of matte gel medium or collage medium down first, put your washi tape down, and then add another layer of, collage medium or multi-medium matte. I don't know, you guys, this migraine, it's one of those ones where it's making it hard to think about words, and it's coming back with a vengeance as I was editing before this voiceover. So anyways, you could seal in the tape with some sort of glue, liquid glue, collage medium, and that will make it so it's super permanent and you don't have to worry about it peeling up away from the paper, but I'm not fussing with that today. I had thought about kind of tearing the edges of this sticker so they aren't harsh edges, but Again, we're going for easy today. So I'll show you how I blend those in. Really, they didn't need much blending because there's so much happening on those tapes. Everything just kind of, looks like it mushes together, which is what I was going for. But I do pull out, this washi tape is one of the florals. And so I add this just over some of the straight edges just to kind of blend things together and add a little something. So it's not just, grid and paper and like writing. I wanted some more florals. This one is faith words, and it has all of these great faith words. So I saw on the roll that there was the word seek, but before the word seek was prayer. So I decided to just go ahead and stick this up here, since I am going to be journaling a prayer in here. That worked out. You could always save the pieces that you pull off on a piece of wax paper or something like that. I'm not too worried about saving things. I sometimes they lose their stickiness when I've pulled it off and stuck it to something else. So there's a lot of tape on these rolls. This piece here again came from the clear sticker sheets that come in the devotional kit, and I just fussy cut, pretty close to the words, deep calls to deep. And I know you wouldn't really place it over the center part of the book like that, but I don't care. We're just letting this be kind of the main title for this image. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of those floral washies down in the corner there. Since I had it in the top, I didn't want just one piece of that tape somewhere over there. Now, I could have let the tape kind of spill over onto the right-hand side, but I wanted plenty of room to write, and it is kind of tricky to write over the top of washi tape. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to do an entire background, you are going to need to use something like a Sharpie pen or something like that to write over the top of washi tape, because it does have kind of a coating to it. So just keep that in mind. Gluing down all of my little die cut pieces. This one again came from the printable version of the devotional kit. Had those great typewriter key elements in there. And then adding some more florals. I can't ever have enough of these black and white scribbly florals. And it's these florals that kind of inspired that deer element as well. I love just the really simple sketched out images. Now we can move on to this little cluster in the bottom here. So I pulled out 2 of those mixed media sticker pieces, and I'm going to layer them up. I'm doing my tried and true where I place the sticker where I want it, reveal a little bit of the corner, cut away that backer sheet, and then create a hinge system. That's just because I'm a control freak and like everything to be perfectly straight. You don't have to do that. I'm gonna add a little bit more of this mixed media. I think this is mixed media lint tape over here on this side. And I'm just trying to keep in mind, I want plenty of room to add my deer element in there. So I'm just trying to lay everything out ahead of time so I can have that visualized. I had done that off camera before I'd even printed the deer. So I printed my deer at about 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And so to transfer, you're just going to flip over and scribble on the back with a pencil. Now I am using a 2B drawing pencil, which is a softer lead than your traditional school pencil. You can definitely do this with a traditional school pencil. I just happen to have these artist pencils because of art school. And so I know that I'm going to get an easier transfer using that softer lead, but you're just going to want to scribble over the entire back. You can do this with anything. Pull an image out of a book or print any image, and then you're just going to coat the back of it. And then we are going to use a ballpoint pen or something like that to trace over the front of your image. And what that's going to do is it's going to, wherever you push down with your ballpoint pen, it's going to leave the graphite from the pencil impression on your surface. So, you could even use, a picture that's got a bunch of color and stuff like that, and then just kind of outline or trace the main focal image, and you'll get that line drawn transfer. You could use graphite transfer paper or something like that, but that's just something else you have to buy. Uh, you're fussing with multiple layers. This is just super easy. I've even done this, like I have printed big words. So my big giant Romans 8:28 sign I have in my living room, I did the same thing. I printed out the words on copy paper, scribbled on the back of it with pencils, and then traced the letters onto my signboard, and then just used an acrylic paint pen to trace the letters. Like this is a tried and true, very easy method for that. I was gonna leave it just as a pencil, but it wasn't quite dark enough for me, so I am going back in with my pen, and you get to decide how much detail you wanna add in. When I scaled it way down from that 8.5 by 11, you lost a lot of the, like, fur details and shadow details and things like that. So, as I'm going in with my pen, I'm just kinda picking and choosing, the types of sketchy little details I wanna add in there, to finish it out. I did choose this image of the deer kind of looking back over its shoulder. I was thinking about, turning back to God. And I was also thinking about, we had done a word study on the word repent many, many, many months ago. And this idea of turning away, changing of your mind, but turning away from your sin, turning away from that behavior. And so that was kind of my thinking for this particular image of the deer kind of looking back over its shoulder. I know that's not really kind of a, standard pose that you might choose, but that's why I chose that. I'm going to finish out the art part with some acrylic black ink using my pipette. For some reason, it's not wanting to splatter quite as much. This ink, I think, is getting a little bit thick because it's dry in my house right now. And so it's not coming out. And this pipette I've used quite a bit. I just keep like rinsing it out. So there might be some residue in there that's making it so things don't come out quite as easy, but it's still more controllable than a paintbrush, I have found. So that works for me. Went ahead and journaled out, instead of doing my own prayer, I just journaled out Psalm 42, 1 through 2, and verse 7, and just let that be my prayer for this page. So there you go. That's the layout. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below for me. Check out that description box for links to everything that I mentioned today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.